The conscious mind and the unconscious mind. A deep and simple explanation. Introduction. The human mind is one of the most powerful and mysterious systems in existence. Every thought you think, every choice you make, and every emotion you feel begins in the mind. Yet most people live their entire lives without truly understanding how their own mind works. Psychologists and thinkers often divide the mind into two main parts, the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. These two parts work together every moment of your life. One part is active, aware, and logical. The other is silent, deep, emotional, and extremely powerful. In this video, we will explore both the conscious mind and the unconscious mind in detail. We will understand what they are, how they work, how they influence behavior, habits, emotions, learning, memory, and decision-making. This explanation is simple, clear, and structured like a book reading or summary, so you can easily follow along. By the end of this video, you will have a deeper understanding of how your mind operates behind the scenes and how both parts of the mind shape your daily life. Let us begin by understanding the conscious mind. Part 1. What is the conscious mind? The conscious mind is the part of your mind that you are aware of right now. It is responsible for thinking, reasoning, analyzing, and making deliberate choices. When you are reading, listening, speaking, or solving a problem, you are using your conscious mind. The conscious mind works with logic and awareness. It helps you understand what is happening around you at this moment. It is the mind that asks questions, compares options, and makes decisions based on information. For example, when you decide what to eat, what to wear, or what words to speak, your conscious mind is active. It processes information from your senses and helps you respond intentionally. However, the conscious mind has limitations. It can only focus on a small amount of information at one time. It also gets tired easily and cannot control everything happening inside you. Functions of the conscious mind. The conscious mind has several important functions. First, it handles awareness. It allows you to be aware of your surroundings, your thoughts, and your actions. Second, it manages logical thinking. This includes planning, reasoning, analyzing problems, and making decisions. Third, it controls short-term attention. When you focus on a task, listen to someone, or read a book, your conscious mind is directing your attention. Fourth, it plays a role in voluntary actions. When you decide to stand up, speak, or move your hand, your conscious mind sends the command. Despite these important roles, the conscious mind is only a small part of the total mind. Many experts compare it to the tip of an iceberg floating above the water. Limitations of the conscious mind. The conscious mind is powerful, but it is not the strongest part of the mind. It can process only a limited amount of information at once. That is why multitasking often leads to mistakes. It also relies heavily on effort. When you concentrate for too long, you feel mental fatigue. Most importantly, the conscious mind does not control habits, emotions, or deep beliefs. These are managed by another part of the mind, the unconscious mind. To truly understand human behavior, we must explore what lies beneath conscious awareness. Part 2. What is the unconscious mind? The unconscious mind is the part of your mind that you are not aware of right now. It is responsible for storing memories, emotions, habits, beliefs, fears, and automatic responses. It works continuously even when you are asleep. While the conscious mind thinks, the unconscious mind feels. While the conscious mind decides, the unconscious mind reacts. For example, when you automatically tie your shoes, drive a familiar route, or react emotionally without thinking, your unconscious mind is in control. The unconscious mind is much larger and more powerful than the conscious mind. It processes vast amounts of information and influences behavior without effort. Functions of the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind performs many essential functions. First, it stores long-term memories. Everything you have experienced, especially emotional experiences, is stored here. Second, it controls habits and automatic behaviors. Once a behavior is learned and repeated, it moves into the unconscious. Third, it manages emotions. Feelings like fear, joy, anger, and sadness arise from unconscious processing. Fourth, it influences belief systems. Deep beliefs about yourself and the world are stored in the unconscious. Fifth, it regulates body functions such as breathing, heartbeat, digestion, and reflexes. The unconscious mind works silently but constantly. It shapes personality, reactions, and patterns of behavior. How the unconscious mind learns. The unconscious mind learns through repetition, emotion, and experience. When something is repeated again and again, the unconscious mind accepts it as familiar and stores it as a pattern. When an experience carries strong emotion, it is deeply imprinted in the unconscious. This is why childhood experiences often have a lasting impact. The unconscious mind absorbs information without questioning or analyzing it. Unlike the conscious mind, the unconscious mind does not judge whether something is true or false. It simply records and responds. Part 3. Difference between conscious and unconscious mind. Understanding the difference between these two parts is essential. The conscious mind is aware, logical, analytical, limited, active during waking attention. The unconscious mind is unaware, emotional, automatic, vast, active all the time. The conscious mind chooses goals, but the unconscious mind determines behavior patterns. The conscious mind makes decisions, but the unconscious mind influences reactions. This is why people often act against their conscious intentions. The unconscious patterns are stronger. How both minds work together. The conscious and unconscious minds are not enemies, they work together. The conscious mind sets goals and learns new information. With repetition and practice, this information moves into the unconscious. For example, when learning to drive, the conscious mind is fully engaged. Over time, driving becomes automatic and unconscious. This cooperation allows humans to function efficiently. However, conflict occurs when conscious goals clash with unconscious beliefs. Part 4. Habits and the unconscious mind. Habits are controlled almost entirely by the unconscious mind. A habit is a repeated behavior that becomes automatic. Once a habit is formed, the conscious mind no longer needs to think about it. Habits save mental energy. However, they also make behavior difficult to change. This is why changing habits feels challenging. The conscious mind wants change, but the unconscious mind prefers familiarity. Emotions and the unconscious mind. Emotions originate in the unconscious mind. You do not choose emotions consciously. They arise automatically based on past experiences and stored memories. A situation triggers an emotional response because the unconscious mind recognizes a pattern. This happens faster than conscious thinking. That is why emotions often feel sudden and intense. Memory and the unconscious mind. Most memories are stored unconsciously. You may not remember every detail, but the unconscious mind remembers patterns and emotional meaning. These memories influence reactions, preferences, and fears. Sometimes memories resurface through dreams, thoughts, or emotional responses. Part 5. The role of the mind in decision-making. People believe decisions are logical, but research shows emotions play a major role. The unconscious mind evaluates situations emotionally before the conscious mind becomes aware. The conscious mind then explains the decision logically. This is why people often justify choices after they make them. The power of attention. Attention acts as a bridge between the two minds. What you focus on consciously sends signals to the unconscious mind. Repeated focus strengthens unconscious patterns. This is why repeated thoughts shape behavior over time. Part 6. Learning and creativity. Learning begins consciously and becomes unconscious. Skills, language, and creativity depend on unconscious processing. Creative ideas often emerge when the conscious mind relaxes. This shows the unconscious mind's role in imagination and insight. Dreams and the unconscious mind. Dreams are expressions of unconscious activity. They reflect emotions, memories, and unresolved experiences. Dreams communicate in symbols rather than logic. They offer insight into unconscious processes. Part 7. Common misunderstandings. Many people misunderstand the unconscious mind. It is not mysterious or magical. It is a natural system. It does not think in words, but in images, feelings, and patterns. Understanding this removes fear and confusion. The mind and personality. Personality is shaped largely by unconscious